everyone, thank you for tuning in. I'm your instructor Joy. Thank you very much for your continued support here, also in my Patreon page, booking lessons with me, volunteering with your time, and sharing your ideas on the comments, and then sending me kind comments and questions. All your support means a lot to me, and I very much appreciate. Thank you very much. So this is a question that I get a lot and also a lot asked, which I ask myself as a student too, which is how long does a beginner need to practice violin until it sounds good, it sounds nice, or exactly how many years or how many hours of practicing do we need to put if we start completely zero until we sound decent that we can play for somebody else? Those are very valuable questions, and please remember there are no wrong questions. Never feel shy to ask questions to me or other instructors or anybody else. That is a very important and courageous first step to find a solution. So do ask questions, and remember all questions are valuable. Let's start this way. Even though a lot of violinists come to me and like, I'm completely beginner, I never touched this instrument. In my experience, it's never same level of beginner. For various reasons. It has to do with your general musical knowledge. If you had played other instruments, these violinists tend to learn faster. Or even if you never played other instruments, but you're a classical music listener, you have a collection of your memory of nice playing, or nice sound quality, nice musical phrasing, and this kind of violinists tend to improve a little faster. Just so that I remind you, listening good classical music is very important, not only it's fun. Anyway, back to the topic. Generally speaking, because I know you're all eager to hear the answer, so I'll give you the short answer and long answer. Short answer first. So generally speaking, about 1 to 2 years. Generally speaking, again, it takes time. Most of beginner students tend to take time about 1 to 2 years to produce beautiful tone. With a consistent work, about 30 to 45 minute work a day, about 5-6 days a week, something like that. Again, generally speaking, seems to be mostly like that, based on my many years of teaching. However, I have to admit, I've seen people learning much faster too. The person who never played any other instrument properly or had no musical background, somehow something clicked and then learns faster. I wish to take all the credit on my own, but it's never like that. It's a teamwork between students and violin student and the violin instructor. If you're self-teaching violinist, it's the same way. Make sure you find the correct instruction and have a checkpoint. If you don't want to have a regular lesson, see if you can once in a while, at least once in a while, have it checked to make sure you're on the right track. So in my studio, a lot of adult students especially, I prefer to start with a proper music for two things, so that all my violin students get exposed to nice music and also get an idea what this whole violin playing is for. Not just a long note, even though that is important too. Very first tune that I start teaching to most of my adult violinists is this one, which is Beethoven's Symphony No. 9, last movement finale, Ode to Joy. Generally in my studio, a lot of violinists tend to master this tune within 2 to 4 months. I had recently a retired gentleman, who claimed to be completely beginner, does not know anything about violin and very little knowledge of music. He mastered it, I think, even less than a month, just a couple of weeks, and sounded very nice, even though this violinist is very critical about his own playing, but I thought it was remarkable. Just to show you, it has nothing to do with age group, but it's more commitment. There's more commitment, and then how well you're focused, or how much you're willing to put work into it. but generally speaking in my studio, people about 2 to 4 months, they tend to play with a pretty decent, beautiful tone about within 2 to 4 months, Ode to Joy. Now, how do we work on that one, whether we're working with our instructor or by yourself? Couple of things when you're completely new, you should focus so that you can get there faster to producing beautiful tones. Starts like this. First, try to, of course, ultimately we want to use entire bow, but one has to be first familiar with a beautiful tone. So once you're a little, once you have experienced beautiful tone produced with yourself and a little easy to relate to one, and therefore you can expand your part of the study. And that's how I like to approach. So start playing the middle part of the bow, which is a little easier to play than the tip or the frog. Even though a lot of violinist instructors start teaching how to use whole bows at first, and it is a good idea to learn how to produce full tone, but I find it a little such a strong start for many violinists, because there's a lot of constant change of the arm movement as you move your bow from tip to the frog. So I find it's nice starting from the middle bow. See if you can produce beautiful tone by simply keeping that bow in the same place, which we call contact point. If you feel comfortable, gradually making a bit longer, but towards the tip, not towards the middle. So using from the middle to the tip like that. Try to practice each string. Then another thing that you want to try, whether with your instructor or yourself, try to focus 1 or 2 strings at a time instead of learning all strings, even though that's ultimately what we want. But you have to understand, you cannot teach a child how to run for miles and miles of marathon in day 1 or day 20 even. The things has to be built gradually. Remember, the violin study is not only with the brain but also all this muscle. So one has to develop that habit or the strength, especially muscle. And just give yourself time to learn 1 string. Pink is the hardest one, which we should master, but maybe leave it out for the beginning. So until you have a good habit of playing beautifully. Then later you can add the 4th finger. Then gradually you increase to 2 strings, such as on and on like that. And then you gradually increase to 3 and 4 string, which will involve a little more active right elbow height adjustment and so on. Yeah. Every long distance starts with a good first step. Very good first step leads to the very good possible second step, and on and on. It is true that we want to master all these things, but in order to master all these things, we have to learn to master small things first, because that way we are related to the good quality playing, and then gradually when we increase the number of technique we do, we can keep the same quality. Yeah, I hope this made sense to you. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all happy violin playing. Hope to see you again. Bye bye.